Welcome back to Bazaar Morning Call. Promises to be a good Friday if you're a bull. The Nifty has been at a record high and looks like that trend could continue. Our entire research team is here to prep you for the day. So many stocks to discuss. It's the last day of the Zomato IPO as well, so we'll talk about that too. But Anuj, let me begin with you. What are you looking at today?
Two financial names today, Sonia. First is DCB Bank. It's come on my radar after a long time, purely on technical reasons. It's made a golden cross, 50-day moving average crossing 200-day moving average. I mean, if you look at the chart, it's made a beautiful bottom and bounce from there. So that's something to keep on your radar. Of course, it was up yesterday, so you would want to see how it moves today. And the other is ICICI Lombard. Insurance stocks in general have done well. And yesterday there was big delivery buying in ICICI Lombard. So that's something I'll keep on my radar.
Okay, but then it's the tech stocks that will be the cynosure of the market. We start with Wipro. Rima, how did the numbers look to you?
Well, the top line growth is very strong, much ahead of street expectations. The company's delivered a dollar revenue growth of 12.2% versus consensus expectations of 10%. And even if you exclude the acquisition-related benefits to the top line, the organic revenue growth is the best that the company has seen in the last 38 quarters. So we're talking about decade-high revenue growth. And also, this constant currency revenue growth of 4.9% is ahead of peers like Infosys as well as TCS. Their Q2 guidance is also strong. It's in line with expectations at 5 to 7%. The only niggle apart from the attrition and supply side is the fact that deal wins for the company have come down. It was $1.2 billion in Q3, $1.4 billion in Q4, and this quarter it's come down to $715 million. So will this slow revenue growth in the coming quarters? And also bear in mind that even as the revenue growth looks good, how much of it is in the price? 9.5% this week. This year, it's up nearly 50%, and in the last 1 year, it's up 120%, and it's significantly outperformed its peers. Back to you.
Okay, thanks a lot for that. It's outperformed its peers in the last 1 year. It's more than doubled Wipro. Let's see how it shapes up today. But Abhishek is with us to tell us about Bandhan Bank and the business update there. Abhishek, hi, morning.
Morning, Sonia. So weak set of numbers on the business front coming in from Bandhan Bank. Their deposits have declined by 0.8% quarter on quarter. However, the loan growth declined rapidly and perhaps the highest amongst all the banks which have given their business update. So it's down about 7.9% sequentially. Just to give a comparative number, IDFC First Bank loan book has declined by 3.7%. CSB Bank has seen a decline of 3.4%. So Bandhan Bank is at the top. Collection efficiency for the MFI business has come down to 72% in the month of June when compared to 95% that they had for the month of March. So overall collection efficiency has declined to about 80% for the month of June when compared to 96% that they recorded in March. Back to you.
Okay, Abhishek, thanks for that. Well, let's not now talk about mid-cap IT, where stocks, as we know, can really move big. Rima, and you are tracking 3 of them.
Yes, Anuj. Let me start with L&T Infotech. Again, a solid revenue beat, 5.1% dollar revenue growth versus consensus expectations of 3.8%. This, the company says, is the best sequential growth that they've ever seen. There is a miss on the margins, but some margins have significantly declined, close to 300 basis points. So that's a bit of a worry. But I think the street could focus on the revenue growth, and plus there is that special dividend of 10 rupees. Tata Elxsi has reported a strong revenue growth, but there's a very sharp margin decline. Margins have declined by 550 basis points. So I'm going to go with red for Tata Elxsi purely given the margin miss and the fact that the stock has run up so much. It's up 400% in the last 1 year. And Sign is perhaps going to be the only IT company which has reported a revenue decline this quarter. So revenues have fallen by 4.3% on a quarter-on-quarter basis. This stock was up 8.3% yesterday. So we could expect some correction. And finally, I'm going to leave you with the attrition picture for the 3 companies which reported numbers. As you can see, across the board, there has been an increase of 200 to 400 basis points sequentially in the attrition numbers. So that is clearly a worry, particularly more so for mid-caps. Back to you.
Okay, it would be interesting to see how Tata Elxsi reacts. As you said, it's a margin miss this time around, and there's really no scope for error as far as the stock performance is concerned. But let's go across to Nigel now. He has some more results on his list. Nigel, hi, morning.
Hi, morning. I'm tracking two companies. One is Tata Steel Long Products. Well, that one came out with an absolutely splendid set of numbers. Now, the previous quarter, that's on Q4 FY21, they did EBITDA of close to around 500 crores. Now, this time around, they've done 520 crores odd. So that looks very, very good. And besides a good operational performance, the finance cost has been gradually coming down. On a sequential basis, it's down by more than 50%. In fact, it's come down to around 31 crores approximately. Remember, at its peak, it was at around 80 crores odd. So positive there. Next one is Angel Broking. Well, it looked good. Big growth on the top line, close to around 13% odd. Their market share has improved by close to around 200 basis points as well. And in addition to that, the gross addition has been close to around 12 lakh customers. That compares with a little less than 10 lakh in the fourth quarter of last year. So green on both these two stocks. Back to you.
Okay, thank you very much. Green is always welcome, isn't it, Nigel? Let's get to Sonal. Sonal, some more stocks on news other than results?
Absolutely. I have 4 stocks on my radar. All 4 of them I expect to be in the green. Let me start with IRB Infra. The company had claimed some money as EPC contractor along with interest, around 250 crore rupees with interest. And now the arbitration tribunal has in fact awarded it in favor of the company. So that is a positive news coming in. Century Textiles has finally disposed of its business of denim units in yarn for around 62 crore rupees. They had already shown it as discontinued operations and finally it has been disposed of. Sona Comstar has filed a term sheet along with Israel's IRP Nexus Group to collaborate and manufacture magnetless drive motor and matching controller for 2-wheeler and 3-wheeler electric vehicles. So that is a new business that they'll be getting. And lastly, Rossari Biotech, there are reports suggesting that they are in advanced negotiations to acquire a Mumbai-based chemical firm for 100 to 125 crore rupees. Do remember they recently acquired a Unitop Chemicals for 421 crore rupees and they had raised 300 crore rupees as QIP and they said they will be using it for inorganic acquisition. So that stock remains in focus as well.
Okay, thanks a lot for that. Many interesting stocks in focus this morning. Sadbhav Engineering is another one. Agam is tracking that. Agam, over to you.
Right. Well, we are tracking this because the promoter entities have increased their pledges. And in terms of that, we are looking at Sadbhav Finstock, where the pledge has been increased by around 41 basis points to around 6.23%. Shantaben Patel's pledge has been increased by 6.6% to as much as 28.6%. That's the full, holding pledged, as well as Shashin Patel, whose pledge has been increased by around 0.5%. But what is more interesting is that these pledges have been made in favor of Adani Properties Private Limited. So we'll be watching out for this one, especially given that there has been so much buzz in Sadbhav Engineering.
All right, thanks a lot for that. So here's a quick recap then of all the stocks in focus today. Stocks with positive news flow. We begin with Wipro, L&T Info, IRB Infra, Century Textiles, Sona Comstar, Rossari Biotech, Tata Steel Long Products, Angel Broking. While stocks with negative news flow today, there's Bandhan Bank, Tata Elxsi. Not negative, but the margins have been a miss for Tata Elxsi, for Cyient as well, higher attrition rates and Sadbhav Engineering, as Agam was just pointing out. But let's go across to Manisha Gupta, our commodities editor, for a quick roundup of all the action from the commodity markets overnight. Manisha, hi, good morning.
Morning, Sonia. Thank you for that. I'll start with the gold prices, which are trading at a 4-week highs. There have been dovish comments from the U.S. Fed chair, and also the 10-year Treasury bond yields continue at a 5-month low, supporting the gold prices, just about shy of that 200 days moving average. Once we cross that, markets are anticipating further gains in gold. It is the crude oil prices, though, which are headed for a biggest weekly decline in 4 months. Yesterday night's settlement in New York was the lowest in nearly a month. Markets are awaiting clarity on the UAE and the OPEC and allies deal. And then the rising COVID cases in Japan, South Korea, Indonesia, Vietnam also are weighing onto the crude oil prices. A final word on the metal space, and while the base metal prices are trading mixed, it is the ferrous metals which are trading firm. You have the steel prices in Asia, which are trading at an 8-week highs, and there is nearly a 3% gains in the iron ore prices also.
Okay. All right, all that should hopefully help. Thank you very much, Manisha. One of those days when commodities is going to be a help. I mean, crude lower, that should help the Asian paints of the day, who they're going to announce their numbers next week. And metals also giving us a little bit of an edge. Let's hope that will be the green contribution. We're going to take a break on that note. And thereafter, we have an old friend coming back here, Rahul Arora, CEO at Nirmal Bang Institutional Equities.